If the Los Angeles Lakers want to beat the Denver Nuggets in the first round of the playoffs, it's going to take everything. And yes, I mean everything. The Nuggets feel like they have the Lakers number. I think in the last 8 games, they're 8-0 against them. Obviously, they swept them last year. And as a Lakers fan myself, obviously I try and be as unbiased as possible. But as a Lakers fan myself, it burns me alive because every single game plays out the same exact way. Close game all throughout, going into the fourth quarter, tie game, about 3 to 4 minutes left, and the Nuggets just put it on, go on like a 12-4 run, 12-2 run, 10-0 run, and just pull away and win the game every time. And you know why? It's because the Nuggets are the best team in the league, and they have the best player in the league in Nikola Jokic. If you're a Lakers fan, there are some silver linings, and we'll go through them as quick as I can. Let's start with silver lining number 1. LeBron James, seemingly way more healthy this year than he was last year. That foot must have been truly in the playoffs last year because his explosiveness looks pretty back to normal, and I mean, he just wasn't getting proper lift last year. It was pretty obvious. Yeah, he just looks healthier, which is great. He's played like one of the, I'd say, top 6 or 7 players in the league this year, which is just insane to think about. I know we don't have to go on a whole LeBron rant, but almost 40 years old, and I mean, it's pretty obvious. The numbers don't lie. At the very worst, he's a top 8 player in the league. So yeah, LeBron James, healthier. Hopefully that makes a difference, but I'm not sure it will make enough of a difference because, I mean, when you think about it, it was game 4 last season, and I think he had like 37 points in the first half. It was something crazy like that, and it was the most he had scored in the first half of a playoff game. They lost that game. So I'm not sure it's going to make that much of a difference. Obviously, I think it'll help on the defensive end a lot because we need all hands on deck to guard this team. They're so well built, so perfectly constructed around Jokic that you're going to need all hands on deck on the defensive end. Silver lining number 2, D'Angelo Russell is having a much better season than last year. And I'd argue that he's having the best season of his career, actually. And I'd say that because he's playing with so much confidence. It's awesome to watch. If you're a Lakers fan, watching D'Lo has been one of the best highlights of the season. He's been playing lights out. He's shooting the out of the ball. Look, he cannot get played off of the court these playoffs. He cannot get played off of the court. He's their 3rd best player, and if he gets played off, you can kiss this series goodbye because the Lakers desperately need his shooting, his playmaking, and his ball handling ability. Obviously, you have someone like Austin Reeves still, but I think that Austin plays even better when D'Lo plays well. I mean, obviously, D'Lo has been having a better year, cannot get played off the court. We'll see how that all plays out. If the Lakers want a chance, it starts with D'Lo, in my opinion. It truly starts with D'Lo. Obviously, you got AD, LeBron. They're going to do what they do. Assuming they do what they do, you need an X factor. My number 1 X factor, D'Angelo Russell. Silver lining number 3, the Lakers have had a really, really good second half of the season. I believe with this new starting lineup, they are something like 17-6 or something crazy like that. And their offense has just been clicking, and it's very, very, very important that they're able to continue firing on all cylinders, specifically from 3. If they're not able to shoot the ball well, again, you can kiss this series goodbye. They got to be able to keep up with them in the 3-point category. The Nuggets, in my eyes, I don't know if the numbers back this. I'm not a stat guru, but the Nuggets to me are one of the best 3-point shooting teams in the league. And when you have Jokic, I mean, it makes sense. There's so many open threes. If they're not one of the 5 best 3-point shooting teams in the league this year, I promise you they will be in the playoffs. So you have to be able to keep up with that output, and the Lakers have been shooting very, very well, but that has to continue. X factor number 2 is Spencer Dinwiddie. Now, yeah, that sounds insane, but last year, when Jamal Murray was going crazy, it was Dennis Schroeder as his primary defender. I feel like you can also add Gabe Vincent into that. I feel like with Spencer Dinwiddie and Gabe Vincent, they need to help put all the pressure on Nikola Jokic and try their best to make Jamal Murray a non-factor. And Spencer Dinwiddie, Gabe Vincent, in my opinion, are better matchups than Dennis Schroeder was last year. So I'm definitely excited to see what that looks like. Specifically with Spencer Dinwiddie, as crazy as that sounds, I know when people look at him, they don't see him as like a defensive player. But, if you're a Lakers fan, you've seen what he's been able to do on that end of the floor, and it's honestly super encouraging. So I do expect them to line him up against him a lot, and also Gabe Vincent. So we'll see what those matchups look like. But if you're a Lakers fan, definitely, an X factor / silver lining is that you'll have better defenders on him. But the question is, how well can they compete on that end of the floor, and how much can you take him out of the game? Because I feel like what makes Jamal and Jokic so special is the fact that they have each other, and the fact that they really go off of each other so well. When one gets it going, it opens up the other's game so fucking well. It's so fun to watch when they're not playing against the Lakers. But if you can take one out of the game, and I'm going to go ahead and say that you probably can't take Nikola Jokic out of the game because he is, like I said, the MVP. So if you can take Jamal out of the game as best as you possibly can, obviously the best in the world, they're going to get their shots up and they're going to produce. But if you can do your best to take them out of the game plan a little bit, make them solely go through Jokic, then, the problems start to dwindle. X factor number 3, Anthony Davis. I mean, just like with D'Lo, if he has a bad series, you can kiss this whole thing goodbye. But with Anthony Davis, I feel a little bit bad for him. I'm not going to lie. Now, just hear me out. I do feel like he's one of the best defenders in the league. But when you see him line up against a natural center like Jokic, who's just bigger than he is, stronger than he is, you really start to see that size discrepancy, and you really start to realize that Anthony Davis is truly a 4 playing the 5. And he does it because the Lakers need it. I guess they feel like it unlocks the absolute best in their offense. I don't blame them. But when the Lakers beat the Nuggets, I understand it was in the bubble, but when the Lakers beat the Nuggets back then, AD wasn't guarding Jokic. Dwight Howard was for the majority of the time. And I felt like that made all the difference. Now, back to AD. The reason I'm saying all of this is because they need him to put up a fight against Jokic on the defensive end. Like I said, I feel like he's one of the very best defenders in the league. You have to go out there and do your absolute best to limit Jokic. Now, I know that's pretty much impossible. I feel like Jokic has entered that realm where he's almost unguardable. He's unstoppable. He's the most unstoppable player in the league to me right now. I get it. It's a tough ask. But if you're the Lakers, if you're Anthony Davis, you have to take this matchup personally, man. Like, there's got to be something in you. I don't know what it is. I'm only a fan. I'm just a dude with a camera and a mic trying my best. If I'm being honest, AD's got to take the matchup personally. If not, you can kiss this series goodbye, man. Like, it all runs through Jokic. Now, something that I am super curious about, and again, I'm not a coach, so I don't really know how all this is going to play out, but I don't know if you guys watched the UConn versus Purdue final. Dan Hurley, great coach for the UConn Huskies. He said in the post-game press conference, Zach Edey, big man for Purdue, player of the year in the college basketball scene. Zach Edey can have all the points he wants. It's all about stopping the shooters around them. If we can stop the shooters, Zach Edey can do whatever the hell he wants. And I've always wondered if that would work against the Nuggets. Now, obviously, I'm sure everyone's tried these, tactics against them. I'm sure teams have left no stone unturned. I'm just curious to see if that would work if you're the Lakers. Let Jokic kind of just score as much as he wants, but his real superpower is passing. His real superpower is involving his teammates. So it'd be really interesting to see how that all plays out. And I think over the course of a series, obviously there's adjustments, right? So I'm really curious to see what the initial defensive game plan is for Jokic and obviously Murray. Who do they line up against who? Can D'Lo make it, through a whole series and be effective and be a plus on the court? We'll see. If you're a Lakers fan, if you're a coach on the Lakers, a player on the Lakers, I'm pretty sure they're all saying we have to steal one game in Denver. And one of the first 2 games in Denver, I mean, obviously. But if you go down 2-0 to the defending champs, especially with everything that happened last year, that seed of doubt gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and that's the last thing you want, right? Game 7, again, would be in Denver, so the last thing you want is to have to play a Game 7 over there. So you got to try and win it in 6. In order to win it in 6, your best bet is winning one of the first 2 games of the series. Now, I'd also say they're lucky that they're playing them right now, because the last thing you want is to have to play them in the Western Conference Finals when LeBron and AD might be a little bit injured. Look, man, if you're playing against the best team in the league, let's play them right away. Let's figure out right away whether we're built for this shit or not. Let's see if we can really match up with the absolute best in the world, and if we can't, we don't belong here anyway. So I'm excited. As much as I'm nervous, I'm also excited. I love seeing the Jokic and AD matchup, the LeBron trying to figure out how to best attack this defense. I love all the intricacies of this series, and I'm really excited to see if the Lakers can have like a real X factor. They need another guy to truly step up. All eyes are going to be on D'Lo, but I think you need to look a little bit past D'Lo, because it's an absolute necessity that he plays well. If he doesn't play well, you can kiss this shit goodbye. I'm thinking they need like a fourth or fifth guy to step up. Rui, Austin Reeves, Spencer Dinwiddie, Gabe Vincent. They need somebody out of those four to play out of their mind. I know I'm making it sound like such an impossible mountain to climb, but I think that that's just a testament to the Denver Nuggets. They're the best team in the league, like I said. MVP right there, best player in the world right there. Jamal Murray just turns it on when it's playoff time. They're built so perfectly around Jokic. It's just crazy. I mean, LeBron's 39 years old and he's got to try and figure out another absolute dynasty in the making, it feels like. But if you're a basketball fan, if you're a LeBron fan, if you're a Lakers fan, if you're a Nuggets fan, you live for this shit. This is when basketball is at its finest in my eyes, and I feel like this is when greatness comes to the top. It always rises, and call me crazy, I do see a path to victory. It's just not, the chances are just slim. But if there's a team that could do it in the West, I think it's the Lakers. I know that sounds like maybe I'm just a diehard fan, but it's LeBron James, man. He can figure out just about any team. You can never count him out, especially when he's had all this data on them. So he knows what it takes. Now, does that mean that they're gonna win? No, but I think he has the best chance out of any team out west in beating the Nuggets. So we'll see what happens, and like I said, it's going to take everything, so we'll have to wait and see. But either way, I think it's going to be a super exciting series, so I can't wait to break it all down before, during, and after.